The father-in-law. In Spider-Man Homecoming, Peter Parker is ready to have a magical night at the school dance. He gets dressed, adjusts the improvised hero suit under his formal clothes, and heads out to pick up Liz. Nervous mood, butterflies in his stomach. When he rings the doorbell, the door opens. The one who answers is her father, Adrian Toomes, the same villain he has been tracking for days. The Vulture is right there in front of him, smiling, polite, as if nothing were wrong. The shock is immediate. Peter freezes on the inside but keeps it together on the outside.
Over there. Hell of a grip.
Already in the car, Liz sits in the back seat, excited. Toomes drives calmly. The silence is heavy. Little by little, the villain starts dropping casual lines, comments about responsibility, about protecting family. Peter realizes that Toomes already suspects.
I saw it off on the ground.
Good old Spider-Man.
At an intersection, the light turns red. The car stops. Toomes slowly turns his face toward Peter. He confirms everything just with a look. He knows. He understands who is sitting beside him. When they arrive at the school, Toomes asks to have a private talk with the boy. The threat comes in a calm tone. He makes it clear that if Peter interferes in his plans again, his family will pay the price.
You hit in there, Gumdrop. I'm gonna give Peter the dad talk.
Ever interfere with my business again. Because if you do, I'll kill you and everybody you love.
He lets the boy go have a fun night with his daughter and drives off. At the dance, Peter can barely fake being normal. He knows he has to act. He knows who the villain is. And well, he is Spider-Man, right?
Gotta go.
The brutal truth. In Captain America Civil War, the mood among the Avengers is already at its breaking point. Opposite sides, distrust in the air. Zemo reaches his final move. He activates the video kept under lock and key. Tony Stark watches without understanding at first. The recording shows a dark road, a stopped car. Inside it, his parents. Suddenly, the attack. The Winter Soldier appears without expression. He kills Howard. He kills Maria. Tony realizes the truth in the cruelest way possible. His parents didn't die in an accident, it was a murder. The rage explodes. Tony goes after Bucky without thinking. Steve tries to intervene, but then the truth hits like another punch. The weight of betrayal hits harder than any physical blow. The fight turns savage. Fists. Shields. Lasers. Bucky's metal arm is destroyed. Steve takes the beating but doesn't back down. The Avengers break apart in that moment, not as a team, but as a family. And that had been Zemo's plan from the very beginning.
Spend all that time, all that effort.
Worst father. Right in the opening moments of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 comes the revelation Peter Quill waited his whole life for, meeting his father.
After all these years, I've found you. My name is Ego, and I'm your dad, Peter.
Ego's arrival seems to fill a lifelong void. He shows up with a confident smile, a calm presence, and a power that fills any room. He speaks like someone who knows every corner of the cosmos and has finally decided to share that knowledge with his own son. For Peter, it's like receiving an entire past all at once. But Ego is not just a powerful man. He is an ancient entity, a being that was born as pure consciousness, and over countless ages, built himself a body, a planet, and a limitless ambition.
I created what I imagined biological life to be like, down to the most minute.
His desire was always simple to explain and terrifying to understand. He wanted to fill the universe with versions of himself, to expand his essence until everything carried his mark. For that, he needed an heir capable of sharing his energy, a son who would serve as a bridge to multiply his presence across infinity, until the conversation changes.
Now.
But my mother, you said you loved my mother.
Ego, almost without changing his tone of voice, admits that Meredith, Peter's mother, became a problem. He says he started to feel something real for her, something that could pull him away from his goal of expansion. And to make sure nothing would take him off his path, he placed a tumor in her brain. Meredith's death was a calculated act.
But it broke my heart to put that tumor in her head.
Peter's face changes in an instant. He raises the gun and shoots his own father.
What?
No, all right. I know that sounds bad.
In the final confrontation, Ego loses control of his own planet. The entire structure begins to collapse. Everyone runs to survive. Peter gets trapped outside without a suit, doomed by the lack of air. Yondu appears at the very last moment. He holds Peter, puts the only mask available on the boy's face, and accepts the price of that choice.
He may have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy.
What? No! Oh, no!
Stolen destiny. When Miles runs from the other versions of Spider-Man, he enters a machine that he believes will take him exactly back to his own universe. He believes that because the technology reads the user's DNA and sends them to their supposed correct home. When Miles arrives at the destination, he feels that something is wrong. He tells his mother he is Spider-Man, but she doesn't even know who the hero is.
I'm Spider-Man.
Who's Spider-Man?
The superhero?
You really had me going there. Spider-Man. Imagínate.
Miles tries to understand, but his heart races when he notices another, even more terrifying detail. His uncle Aaron, who in his world was no longer alive, appears in front of him at home. And then comes the final blow.
Hey.
His father is dead in that universe. Miles feels reality losing its shape. He understands he is not home. He is trapped in a different place. And the reason for the mistake is the true plot twist. The spider that bit Miles in the first movie did not come from his universe. It came from this one. The machine didn't make a mistake. It sent him back to the true point of origin, the dimension of the spider that turned Miles into Spider-Man. The shock leaves no room for response. Aaron hands him over to the Prowler, and when the mask comes off, the revelation cuts like a blade. The villain is the Miles Morales of that universe, a version of him who grew up without a father and never became a hero.
I'm Miles Morales.
Hidden Queen. At the heart of Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, the fall seems inevitable when Bane takes center stage of the terror. He dominates the streets, destroys Bruce's reputation, and breaks the hero in a way no villain had ever managed before.
But for now, you're completely broke.
To everyone, it becomes clear that Bane is the mastermind behind the chaos. But in the middle of this suffocating scenario, there is someone important to Bruce, Miranda Tate. She appears offering support at a moment when Bruce is vulnerable. She takes part in Wayne Enterprises, helps restore investor confidence, and comes close as someone who just wants to rebuild. Bruce, exhausted, finally accepts a gesture of care that feels safe. Later, the story of the pit returns to the spotlight after Bruce Wayne is defeated and captured by Bane and thrown into that prison.
Yes, you.
There, the stories speak of a child who achieved an impossible escape, a feat no one ever repeated. All eyes turn to Bane, the imposing figure. Everything points to him as the survivor of that legend. But the truth waits for the right moment. In the final confrontation, when Batman returns to face Bane, the fight reaches the intensity everyone expects. The battle is violent, direct, loaded with the weight of the entire city. Suddenly, Miranda approaches and plunges the blade into Bruce's body, removing any doubt about her true role. The mask falls without her needing to remove one. Miranda reveals she is Talia al Ghul, the daughter of Ra's al Ghul, the heir of the League of Shadows, the mind that guided the fall of Gotham from the very beginning. Not just an infiltrator, but the central piece of the puzzle. She explains that she grew up in the pit and her mother died there. There, she was protected by Bane, a prisoner who kept her alive when the rest of the world wanted to destroy her. The climb that everyone attributed to Bane was never his, but Talia's. She was the child who escaped the abyss. Bane only carried the mark of guilt and devotion. He suffered for protecting her, was disfigured, and swore absolute loyalty. And the entire operation that devastated Gotham was assembled to conclude her father's work. With the plan exposed, the bomb continues its path to the final point. Bane falls fighting for Talia. Bruce, wounded, tries to stop the fate she prepared. In one last push, he takes the device away from the city, sacrificing everything to stop total destruction. The explosion lights up the horizon, and for a time, Gotham believes it lost its guardian. But at the end of the movie, we find out that wasn't exactly what happened. The real culprit. Now moving on to Spider-Man 3, for a long time, Peter believed that Uncle Ben's killer had already paid for the crime. The man fell out the window, died. The pain remained, but the story seemed closed, until Sandman enters his life. Flint Marko appears as a different kind of villain. At first, he's just another enemy, nothing personal, until the truth comes out. During an intense confrontation, Flint confesses. He was on that street that night. He pulled the trigger that killed Ben. The man Peter thought he had killed was never the real murderer. The revelation turns everything upside down. Flint asks for forgiveness, says Uncle Ben tried to convince him not to do it, but that the shot was accidental. He says he regrets it, but Peter only sees old pain opened once again, until Peter remembers his uncle's words and, in an act of extreme maturity, decides to forgive the killer.
I forgive you.
Thanos' snap. In Avengers Infinity War, the battle in Wakanda turns into pure desperation. Everything reaches its climax when Thanos pushes forward through the chaos, making his way to Vision, the last barrier between him and absolute power. Wanda Maximoff holds back tears as she understands what she has to do. She destroys the Mind Stone in the body of the man she loves. He dies right in front of her. For a second, it looks like everything is solved, but it's not over. The Titan raises his hand. The Time Stone glows. The world rewinds. Vision wakes up for just a few seconds, only to die again. This time, it's final. The Mind Stone is ripped out without mercy. The Infinity Gauntlet is finally complete. Then the sky opens. Thor arrives with his Stormbreaker. The axe goes straight through the enemy's chest. The hero thinks he won. The Titan just says he should have gone for the head. Even crushed by pain, he raises his arm and the fingers snap.
You should have gone for the head.
Everyone falls silent. Nothing happens for a few seconds, but then several heroes start to evaporate and disappear, one by one. Spider-Man, Black Panther, Doctor Strange. People all over the place start turning to dust. Far away inside the Soul Stone, Thanos walks through an orange void. Gamora appears as a child. He says he won. She asks at what cost.
What did it cost?
Everything.
The plan is complete. Half of all life ceases to exist in that instant. The heroes still don't understand, but the universe has just been shattered. And for the first time in history, a villain had won. Seriously. The ending of Avengers, Infinity War, is something no one was expecting. The imposter. In Iron Man 3, the Mandarin appears as a ruthless terrorist, threatening videos, public executions, coordinated attacks. He seems to be the biggest enemy Tony Stark has ever faced outside of a suit. The tension grows with every appearance. Tony finally tracks down the hideout. The confrontation comes. He storms the place with everything he's got, and when he finds the Mandarin, nothing makes sense. The villain doesn't fight back. He's scared, confused, shaking. He's not a cold-blooded terrorist. He's an actor. His name is Trevor Slattery. The Mandarin never really existed. It was all a performance, script, costume, a character created to spread fear while the real villain worked in the shadows.
Don't hurt the face. I'm an actor.
You got a minute to live. Fill it with words.
Just a role. The Mandarin. See, it's not real.
Aldrich Killian was behind everything, using chaos as a distraction. Tony is in shock. All that threat was a lie, a staged show to manipulate public opinion and make the real plans easier. And the hero realizes that this time the real villain never showed up in front of the cameras. Dark Guardian. When Thanos arrives on Vormir, he's not alone. Gamora is by his side. She believes she knows where the Soul Stone is, but she still doesn't understand the price. A hooded figure appears at the top of the mountain. Familiar voice. Ghostly presence. It's a Red Skull.
We all think that at first. We are all wrong.
Everyone thought he had died in the first Captain America movie, but no. Steve Rogers' old enemy is now the Guardian of the Stone, trapped in that place, condemned to watch others sacrifice what they love most. He explains the rule. To get the Soul Stone, you have to sacrifice what you love. A soul for a soul. Gamora laughs. She's sure he doesn't love anyone, so he won't be able to get what he wants so badly. She says he failed in the end, after everything he did, precisely because he doesn't love anyone. But then Thanos looks at her, his eyes full of tears. Gamora questions that, and Red Skull explains that those tears aren't for him. That's when she understands everything. Thanos starts walking toward Gamora. He says he ignored his destiny once and can't do it again, and apologizes. Soon it becomes clear that she is the only being Thanos has ever loved. Gamora tries to kill herself first, but it doesn't work. Thanos grabs her arm and throws her off the cliff. Gamora dies, and right after that, Thanos is taken away from there. The stone appears in his hand. The villain gains everything, and the universe loses once again. Stolen throne. In Thor, the Dark World, after the battle in New York, Loki is thrown into Asgard's dungeons, locked up with no one's trust. Thor won't even look at him. Everyone, Loki is a lost traitor, but the threat of the Dark Elves changes everything. Thor needs help to cross portals and reach the enemy. There aren't many options. He decides to set free exactly the one person he should never trust. Loki accepts, with irony, with sarcasm, but he accepts.
Is this better?
Brother.
Oh, this is much better.
During the journey, he surprises everyone, helps with the plans, he saves Thor more than once. The mood between the two starts to change. It looks like that old partnership might actually be back. Then the blow comes. In the final battle, Loki helps his brother, who is under attack, but ends up getting impaled. He falls into Thor's arms, weak, out of strength. He says goodbye.
I'm sorry. I didn't do it for him.
In his last words, he shows that he didn't do it for Odin or for the throne, but for his brother. And then he dies. Thor cries. For the first time, he believes he truly lost Loki for good. Thor tells Odin everything: the sacrifice, the redemption, the honor at the end, and that he himself could never be king. But the truth comes later. In secret, far from everyone, a trick fades away. Loki never died. He used a perfect illusion. While everyone was mourning his loss, he was doing something much bigger. Odin is missing. On Asgard's throne, the one sitting there is Loki, in disguise, smiling, pulling off the greatest con in the entire kingdom. He didn't win with strength, he won with lies. The switch. In Batman: The Dark Knight, the Joker delivers one of the cruelest and most calculated twists in cinema. Rachel Dawes and Harvey Dent are kidnapped and locked in separate warehouses, each with bombs set to explode at the same time. During the interrogation, Batman snaps and starts beating the Joker. For a few seconds, he even admits he wants to break his one rule: never kill. After a few more hits, the Joker gives up the addresses and Batman rushes out. It seems simple, it seems fair, but it's a perfect trap. Driven by desperation and the love he feels for Rachel, Batman speeds to the address he believes is hers. At the same time, Commissioner Gordon and the police head to the other location, confident Harvey will be there. The shock comes in seconds. Batman breaks into the warehouse and finds Harvey Dent, not Rachel. Right after that, the explosion at the other warehouse destroys Rachel's life in front of everyone. The Joker didn't just switch the addresses, he unleashed chaos. He didn't just want to kill, he wanted to rip Rachel out of Harvey's and Bruce's lives, destroy the last anchor of sanity for the district attorney, and prove his point about chaos. The result is devastating. Harvey Dent has half his face burned in the explosion and is reborn as Two-Face.
You ever imagine what it would be like to listen to her die?
And Bruce faces the loss of someone he loved, watching his world collapse in seconds.
I was meant to inspire good.
The exposed face. In Spider-Man: Far From Home, the battle in London seems over. Drones down, illusions broken, Mysterio defeated and dead. Peter believes everything ended right there. But before dying, Mysterio left a video ready, all carefully edited, cut audio, images out of order. In the footage, it looks like Spider-Man is the one attacking the city, and Mysterio with the drones. The hero becomes the villain. Mysterio appears as an unfairly treated victim.
Are you sure you want to commence the drone attack? There will be significant casualties.
Do it! Execute them all!
The file reaches a news site. In just a few minutes, the whole world is watching. J. Jonah Jameson appears on screen, excited, furious. He accuses Spider-Man of terrorism, murder, and treason. Then comes the final blow. The video continues. Mysterio looks straight into the camera and reveals the hero's secret identity: Peter Parker.
Spider-Man's name is Peter Parker. What the?
And if you want to see every time Spider-Man had his identity exposed in the movies, click the video on the screen. I'll see you there.